to call this meeting to order on April 23rd, 2019. Welcome, everyone. And we're going to get started with roll call tonight, please.
Commissioner Abraham?
Present.
Commissioner McElroy?
Present.
Commissioner Watkins? Commissioner Wilson?
Present.
Mayor Harless?
Present. And Commissioner Abraham, would you lead us in the invocation, please? Please stand with us.
Our Father which art in heaven, Heavenly Father, we thank you so much for today. We thank you for the opportunities that today brought us. We thank you for the opportunities that we have to uphold your principles. Father, the commandments that you gave us were for our benefit. These things we ask in Yeshua's name. Amen.
Amen.
Thank you very much. Please join us in the pledge. I pledge allegiance
To the flag of the United States of America and to its republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you all. You may be seated. City Manager, are there any additions or deletions to the agenda?
No, Madam Mayor.
Thank you very much. And we're going to move into the consent agenda. Items on this consent agenda are considered to be routine by the Board of Commissioners and will be enacted by one motion and one vote. There will be no separate discussion of these items unless a board member so requests, in which event the item will be removed from the consent agenda and considered separately. I do have something I want to remove and discuss separately tonight, and that is item F, concerning the development agreement with Weyland Ventures. Does anyone else have anything that they'd like to remove tonight? No? All right, I'm going to ask the city clerk to read the items recommended for approval.
Minutes for the April 9th, 2019 and April 16th, 2019 City Commission meetings. Receive and file documents, personnel actions, a municipal order adopting an amendment to the fiscal year 2018-2019 pay grade schedule for the employees of the City of Paducah, Kentucky, a municipal order adopting the City of Paducah, Kentucky administrative plan for 2019 Housing Choice Voucher Program effective May 1st, 2019 with said administrative plan, including revisions to the utility allowances for the Section 8 housing program as required by the Housing and Community Development Act of 1974 as revised, a municipal order authorizing the mayor to execute a contract with Paducah,
This is
McCracken
the
County.
separate one that we're going to remove, right? Oh, no, sorry. You let me read the right one. I'm so sorry.
For
Keep going.
Paducah, McCracken County Convention and Visitors Bureau in the amount of $25,000 for specific services related to the American Quilter Society Spring 2019 show.
Thank you very much. I make a motion to approve the consent agenda as presented.
Second.
Thank you very much. Roll call, please.
Commissioner Abraham?
Aye.
Commissioner McElroy?
Aye.
Commissioner Wilson?
Aye.
Mayor Harless?
Aye. Sorry about that. I was reading myself and following. If you don't mind, City Clerk, reading the motion for item F.
A municipal order authorizing and approving a Paducah City Block Program Development Agreement between the City of Paducah and Weyland Ventures Development for a program development for a future hotel, parking, open space, and mixed-use residential building located at the city block bounded by 2nd Street, Broadway, North Water Street, and Jefferson Street.
So moved. Can I get a second? Thank you. Okay. Thought you were going to leave me hanging. Excellent. Well, I actually removed this just because I wanted to make sure that our community knew what was going on. It's a very exciting time for us to be talking about a development agreement with Weyland Ventures. As you all may know, I spent quite a bit of time with some of the stakeholders around that specific lot about a month ago, along with Weyland Ventures, talking to them about their concerns and what they were thinking, their excitements, and all of those things. And so I'm really proud that we have found a development partner that listened and will be responsive to the concerns of our community, and I think we'll be able to develop something that will have a lot of impact. This also is following the very exciting celebration that we had last meeting of the TIF district being passed. We, as you probably remember, we do have to have a $20 million investment in that TIF district in order for us to start using the funds there. So how great is it that we have a new developer interested in Paducah that wants to do this? I wanted to take a moment to read a few items on this agreement because I think they're really pertinent and they say a lot about the developer that's been chosen and their mindset and what they're thinking. So a few items that are under the obligations of the developer that I really like that got put in here. One of them is the developer shall also prioritize the creation of a new downtown open space on a portion of the site that will be open to the public and designed in a flexible manner so as to be utilized for a variety of public and civic functions. That is a key role, I would say, for our downtown. The other one is the developer shall prioritize the continued use of a portion of the site for publicly available parking. Another concern that our community had was about parking, so they're committed to that in this agreement. Another one was around shall evaluate the creation of other mixed use or residential buildings as well. So I just wanted to point out that I think that we have come to a really good understanding with this developer. I also want to point out this is a 12-month process, so this is an agreement for 12 months. And at the end of this, there will be some proposals put on the table that we will then discuss at this level and also at the staff level of whether or not they have truly responded to the concerns and the interest of our community. So I just want to encourage everyone, especially those downtown that could be impacted by this for the positive, to be involved in the conversation as we move forward. And Katie, thank you so much for all the work that you've done in making this happen. I really appreciate it. Does anyone have any questions? I just wanted to take a moment to celebrate that moment. Katie's up here in case we have questions. Anyone? No? Okay. Thank you so much. And we'll call roll if you don't mind.
Commissioner Abraham?
Aye.
Commissioner McRoy?
Aye.
Commissioner Wilson?
Aye.
Mayor Harless?
Aye. All right. Commissioner Abraham.
I move that a municipal order entitled a municipal order approving change order number 2 with Hoffman Construction LLC for a contract increase in the amount of $135,956 for the flood wall pump station number 2 rehabilitation project and authorizing the mayor to execute the change order as adopted.
Second.
Good evening, Mayor, Commission, City Manager. You know, as we talk about these pump stations, a lot of people don't understand what they're made up of. And I got some slides tonight to help you all as well as the viewing public to understand some of the assets that you have available to you in the community. Right here is actually one of our 50,000 gallon per minute pumps being pulled out of the station. It's not seen the light of day for 65 years. Okay, so that's the first time it's been out. It just kind of shows you the effort to remove the pump, and it kind of gives you some scale there. That's what it looks like down inside what we call a wet well to get this out. That's the discharge pipe that goes up and over the flood wall, and kind of gives you some idea. That's a refrigerator in the background right behind it. So we kind of let you, and that's a 50,000 gallon minute, and we have 2 of those, and this is at pump station 2, and we have 2 90,000 gallon per minute pumps. But it kind of shows you the effort it takes to get it out of there. And the part that is giving us the problem, but you don't know it until you take it apart, is this part right here, and that's called the diffuser bowl. I know that don't mean anything to you, but I'll show you in a minute. But as you take it out, we're taking it out through the roof, but it kind of gives you some idea how big this thing is. And that's an impeller. You'll notice the clearances that turns, and as it turns, it pumps water up the column, and it forces water back into the river. That'll kind of give you some idea how big that thing is. Men standing on the ground, semi-truck there. And this is the work that's going on. That's some of our motors that's turned those pumps. They're out, but I'm going to get to the diffuser pump so you can kind of see. Those are the parts that come out of it. All the shafts and all the bearing and wearing surfaces. You have to take this entire thing apart to get to the part I'm talking about. Okay, that's the parts laying out on the ground. Kind of give you some idea. That's a 60-inch pipe with a lady standing in front of it. We were going to rebuild all of these parts, rebuild them as in patch what needed to be patching, but we found out that now that's a diffuser bowl right there. Now, what's wrong with this is when these were originally casted, they have 9-inch cracks that are on the other end, and it's at the very bottom of the bowl, and they're cracked in the same place going all the way around. Anybody knows anything about cast iron? You have to heat this up to 600 degrees and then weld on it, and you got to keep it at 600 degrees while you weld on it. Well, we're thinking from its original manufacturing, you have a big sand mold, you pour it in there, and we're thinking that there was differential cooling that went on, and as that happened, it cracked on itself when it was originally made. So we're spending $4.9 million to repair this station. We don't want to put these things back in because if they fail later, you got to pull it all back out to redo it. So as a result of that, we said, okay, let's scrap all the rebuild effort for the pumps down. We saved $1.1 million in the contract. By scrapping that effort, let's go buy all new pumps. So $1.1 million of savings of not doing work, and then we go buy all new pumps for 4 pumps, and that's $1.25 million. So there's where your $136,000 change order comes from. That's an impeller. That's my foot. Kind of give you some idea of that. 65 years old. That thing looks brand new. Now, you might say, why don't you just fix the part that needs fixing and keep the rest? Now you're mixing apples and oranges, because when you're doing a contract job, okay, one person fixes the column, another person fixes the bowl, and then when you put it all together, and then if you have a failure, then everybody's saying, well, it's not my part that failed, so that's somebody else's problem. With the direction that we're going with everybody agreeing is buying new pumps. We have one vendor, one guarantee. We have a problem, we go see one person. It's not about somebody saying not my fault, it's somebody else's fault. Plus, we will get, the wall thicknesses are varying because of different ages or different periods of rust. It's what we call section loss. This way we'll be brand new and ready to go. But on $5 million, $135,000 change order, it's less than 1%.
Would you remind us of how the Corps is supporting the funding of this as it relates to?
Okay, this particular portion, Mayor, we are doing ourselves.
Okay.
Okay, but all the work that we're doing gets counted as match. The project is authorized at $32 million. We have a 35% responsibility on that money, which puts us at around $11 million. Of that 11, we have to pay 5% in cash, which is around $1.6 million in cash. Everything we're doing here counts to our 35%.
Okay. Which opens up the door for the remaining funds?
Yes.
Okay. Okay.
Yes.
Thank you. Any other questions? Thank you for the pictures.
I thought it was a whole lot more than me trying to explain it. So.
Yeah, and trying to take us out there. Thank you very much. Call roll, please.
Commissioner Abraham?
Aye.
Commissioner McElroy?
Aye.
Commissioner Wilson?
Aye.
Mayor Harless?
Aye. Commissioner McElroy.
I move that the Board of Commission adopt an ordinance entitled, an ordinance of the City of Paducah, Kentucky, approving a residential infill development agreement by and among the City of Paducah, Kentucky, and Higdon Development Incorporated for Greenway Village Phase 2, and authorizing the mayor to execute said agreement and all documents related to the same. This ordinance is summarized as follows. The City of Paducah approves the Greenway Village Subdivision Phase 2 Residential Infill Development Agreement with Higdon Development for a period of 8 years with a total rebate not to exceed $182,243, and authorizes the mayor to execute all documents related to same.
Second.
Any discussion? No? All right, roll call, please.
Commissioner Abraham?
Aye.
Commissioner McElroy?
Aye.
Commissioner Wilson?
Aye.
Mayor Harless?
Aye. And Commissioner Wilson.
I move that the Board of Commissioners adopt an ordinance entitled, an ordinance of the City of Paducah, Kentucky, approving 2 residential infill development agreements by and among the City of Paducah, Kentucky, and Higdon Development, Inc., for Ridgewood Villas condominiums, Phase 1 and Phase 2, and authorizing the mayor to execute said agreements and all documents related to same. This ordinance is summarized as follows. The City of Paducah approves the Ridgewood Villas condominiums Phase 1 residential infill development agreement with Higdon Development for a period of 6 years with a total rebate not to exceed $126,397, and authorizes the mayor to execute all documents related to same. Further, the City of Paducah approves the Ridgewood Villas condominiums Phase 2 residential infill development agreement with Higdon Development for a period of 10 years with a total rebate not to exceed $95,053, and authorizes the mayor to execute all documents related to same.
Second.
Thank you. Any discussion? No? All right, roll call, please.
Commissioner Abraham?
Aye.
Commissioner McElroy?
Aye.
Commissioner Wilson?
Aye.
Mayor Harless?
Aye. And if Phil Higdon is watching, we should say thank you.
Thank you
For all the work and investment. That's right. All right, Commissioner Abraham.
I move that the Board of Commissioners introduce an ordinance entitled, An ordinance authorizing the mayor to execute Amendment Number 1 to the engagement agreement with Moss and Barnett for professional legal representation in the cable communication franchise renewable process and to handle other cable communication issues with an hourly rate of $510 per hour for the senior shareholder and $195 per hour for the paralegal. This ordinance is summarized as follows. The City of Paducah approves Amendment Number 1 to the engagement agreement with Moss and Barnett for legal representation related to the cable communication franchise renewal and authorizes the mayor to execute all documents related to same. This amendment updates the hourly rates for Moss and Barnett senior shareholders to $510 per hour and paralegal to $195 per hour, removes the not to exceed amount, and updates the primary contact person for this project to be public information officer.
Second.
Hi, Pam.
Hi, good evening, Mayor, Commissioners,
evening.
City Manager. That summarizes what this is. This is Amendment Number 1 to our engagement agreement. We signed the initial engagement agreement with Moss and Barnett in 2016 as we were launching into our negotiations with Comcast for an updated 10-year franchise agreement. It's a non-exclusive agreement with Comcast. Our previous one expired in 2016. We have been operating on a month-to-month agreement with Comcast ever since then as we have been going through these negotiations. Moss and Barnett is the company that we used in 2006 when we did our previous agreement. They are a telecommunications firm specializing in telecommunications law as well as negotiations with Comcast. Most of their clients are cities working with the Comcast negotiations. As was outlined, there are just 3 changes to the engagement agreement. Everything else is word for word. They updated the hourly rates for their senior shareholder, which is our attorney that we're working with, Brian Grogan, and the paralegal. We had an amount not to exceed in the other agreement of $25,000. We have exceeded that, so we removed that sentence, and we didn't put in another amount to exceed. I would say that we are 90% done with the negotiations. We're in the final home stretch, but we're not sure exactly how much it's going to take to close the deal. And then the last change was just putting me as the contact person. The previous agreement had the previous city manager as the contact person. Negotiations, I didn't think it'd be 2019. I'd still be talking about these negotiations. I really didn't. We had a year where there was no negotiations because we were waiting for the Kentucky Supreme Court to issue their opinion on whether it was constitutional for a city to levy a franchise fee. They came back in late 17 and said, yes, you can levy a franchise fee. So we are converting to having a franchise fee based on gross revenue. And that is a big change. A lot of cities across the state are now looking to see if they want to go from the telecommunications tax, which was coming from the state, or go ahead and negotiate something on their own. So that was why there was a whole year of nothing was happening. We were just waiting. Both sides, we were waiting. So we picked up the negotiations again in late 17. It has been very lengthy. It's been aggressive. It's been amicable, but there's been just a lot of give and take on both sides. And I'm hoping to bring something to you this summer with a new franchise agreement for a new 10-year term, as well as a completely updated cable ordinance, which is Chapter 22 of our code. But we're in the home stretch.
I have a question about
Yes.
budgeting, and maybe for Jim and for you. So if we took out the not to exceed, I hear that we're almost finished. Hopefully we're 5% to go, which doesn't seem to be that much money. But are we I'm assuming we put an amount in our budget for this, and that might be where we can hold that accountable on some level, right?
Yeah.
Okay. So through our own budgeting, we can hold that accountable and make sure it doesn't go skyrocketing.
Of
course.
Okay, okay.
And Moss and Barnett, they want to wrap this up as well, because this is not typical for them to have 3 years of negotiation with the city trying to close a deal with Comcast. So they want to wrap it up. They really do.
Yeah,
then-
we're getting really close.
Okay, good. And then on the franchise fee, are we expecting to see more revenue come from that?
We are hoping to see
The
more
change,
revenue,
okay.
definitely, because it would be based on their gross revenue. And we've been negotiating, what's that definition look like? So we've come to an agreement on the definition of gross revenue, and we're hoping that it will be higher.
Yeah, we're making progress on a PEG fee.
PEG fee as well.
To support our cable access for our residents, our citizens, as well as working through high def requirements.
Those are kind of our big issues that we're still finalizing. But when we went into negotiations, we were taking our existing contract from 2006, and we thought it wouldn't take much to update that and move into the next one. But, you know, companies change, attorneys change on both sides, and on their side definitely, and it's just taken longer. And there's been a lag time. As we submit something to them, we might not hear anything back from them for weeks, months. So that's stretched it out. So
Any other questions for Pam? No? All right, thank you very much. Appreciate you. All right, the city manager has put a new item on our agenda, which I think is going to be great, and that is just for discussion. So our first topic of discussion will be our City Hall unveiling coming up, and our lovely Tamara Tracy will present that.
How befitting is it for the first discussion to be a celebration? I think it's wonderful because the City of Paducah has a lot to celebrate, and this is the perfect occasion for it. And this is a celebration of a project well done, and I'd like to call it out what it is. And the project is breathing new life into the exterior renovation of City Hall. It was very, I'm not going to say controversial, but there was a lot of community engagement on whether or not the City Hall would be demoed and a new one built, or this one renovated. This one has been renovated, and we are approaching the end of that exterior renovation, and it has gone beautifully thanks to Rick Murphy and Megan Mansfield, the project manager on this. And so this is the opportunity for a wonderful party, and I really hope that Rick appreciate. I mean, I feel like this really is a party to say thank you, Rick, for you and your staff going up and beyond what you ever anticipated needed to be done in finding resourceful ways to not only save money, but to rejuvenate the building. And what's also important is the energy of the occupants. Because during this process, people have seen this building come back to its original glory, and they are truly excited about being here and working here. It is a wonderful experience, and this is an experience for us to share with the community. And so this May 2nd, Thursday, there's a whole evening of events. The City Hall exterior unveiling is just the beginning of a wonderful series of events. And we invite the community to share with us a celebratory ribbon cutting, and have enjoy some food and beverage. And the food is going to be not exactly 1960s hors d'oeuvres, but a spin-off of it. So we're going to have some fun.
What the heck is that?
It will be fun, and we'll have some. We're going to have some great music, some local music, as well as some throwbacks to that 60s era. And we will also be using this wonderful space in the form of an art gallery, if you will, because the Dogwood Trail art and photo contest award winners will also be awarded that night, and they will be displayed here in City Hall. And it's going to be a wonderful photo opportunity as well as celebration. And so I hope the community can come and join us, as well as I hope you come and join us. And this is going to be a wonderful re-unveiling, if you will. Immediately following
We tell us the time it starts.
Oh, yes. The time starts at 4 o'clock. The ribbon cutting will be 4:15, and we estimate that the awards for the Dogwood photo contest would be a half an hour later, 4:45, and that will lead us up into the time for the leadership time, or for people to come as a meet and greet for the city leadership, so we'll be available to answer any questions. In the meantime, people can mill around City Hall looking at photo exhibits from its original unveiling in 1963, as well as a photo exhibit illustrating what exactly was done, because it was a lot of work, and a lot of work that is hidden from the public, and hopefully these images will reveal exactly what their money and all the effort went to. And then finally, we all know that this building was designed by Edward D. Stone, the preeminent architect of the day, but we are going to learn a lot more of that if we just venture diagonally across the block over to McCracken County Library, where we have Melinda Winchester giving us the real story, the historical story of City Hall and that particular architect. So it's going to be a wonderful evening filled with everything that is positive and exemplary of City Hall. It's going to be a City Hall day.
There you go.
So if you have any questions at all, I'd be delighted to entertain them.
Anyone?
Well, I'm just going to say this is how karma works in my life. It feels like, because I've been trying for a couple of years to get our community involved with the Energy Communities Alliance, ECA, which is an organization that works with communities that have a Department of Energy facility in their site, in their community. And next Wednesday and Thursday, Judge Clymer and I are scheduled to be at that meeting.
Of course.
So I've been dedicated to City Hall as well. So I don't think I'll be here, but I'm so excited for the way it's looking and for the celebration that will be here. So I'm sorry I'm going to miss it, but just please know I will be in DC representing us with the Department of Energy and the Energy Communities Alliance. So just the way it works.
It is, but with your travel schedule, I don't see how we could have not missed one.
We're going to all have to make up for Sandra, because
Yes.
she likes
Yes.
a party for sure.
I do like to have a party, and I'm really missing it.
Get your party clothes on, and let's have
I'll be en route home during this event.
It's another celebration.
Yes. This is the year of celebration,
celebration.
for us, and so I'm so proud of the way it's looked at. And our contractors, I think that we've had a lot of good consultants and contractors working with us on it. There was a grassroots movement. We will remember that talked to us about saving City Hall and staying here and not doing anything else but that, and we listened and made adjustments. So it's really great to see it come into fruition next Thursday and the celebration.
Yeah,
So
It's wonderful.
Just a little bit of controversy. Not a whole lot. Just a little bit.
I'll be celebrating on the way
public
home.
discourse.
That's it.
That's all.
That's
It's
it.
public discourse. Sometimes, you get heated, but in the end, everyone's heart is in the right place, and we come to something we can all agree on.
Tamara,
And that's the
who's
beautiful thing
can you give
about
us a
it.
snapshot of the singers that'll be here, the groups, the musical groups?
Oh, yes. We are going to be having a very special musical group headed up by the well-known Fowler Black. Fowler Black and his wife have created this choral group, which is going to be here providing some entertainment for us. So we're really excited about that. And then we'll have a local musician as well. So it's all local and it's all great. So
exciting.
come join us.
Excellent. Thank you for all your work in planning this.
Oh, certainly.
Appreciate it. Absolutely. All right. City Manager.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. Just to update the board that we are continuing to go through the budget submissions of all the leadership team members and departments. We're going to wrap up tomorrow afternoon with the last budget submission being the city manager's office, which will include the legal monies for the Comcast negotiations. And then we'll begin our individual meetings with members of this board on Thursday. So the process is going really well, and I'll give a bunch of kudos out to John, which I don't think is out there, and all the leadership team members for all their contributions. It's been going really well. Along with the budget, we're kind of simultaneously going through and creating a capital improvements plan that kind of captures all the major purchases, projects for equipment, vehicles, as well as just capital projects you see in and around town, and we'll identify all those for the commissioners as well. We can kind of walk through those and take a peek at them and get your feedback on those. So it's been a really good exercise.
Great. Thank you for your effort on that. Any comments from the commissioners? No. I wanted to just quickly share that Commissioner Wilson and I just got back this afternoon from visiting Gincana's headquarters in Winchester, about a 4.5-hour drive that we did in 2 days. That was quick. We're already back. But Senator McConnell was actually there today, and they were celebrating the passing of the hemp legislation federally. We also got a chance to talk and meet with their president, and they're still very excited about Paducah and what they're looking for here. But they're definitely making some progress in Mayfield, and we're excited to be supporting that as well. So I wanted to share that, and I also just want to say a big thank you to Dr. Reese and his team at the community college for the symposium that they hosted last Thursday. It was definitely a good example of what we can do when we come together as a region and have conversations about economic development. I think there were a lot of good relationships built last Thursday. So I want to say thank you to him. And then also, not that a quilter is watching this meeting, but welcome, quilters, to Paducah.
That's right.
We're so happy to have you. I love seeing people walk on our sidewalks in that mass amount. It's just absolutely incredible. The activity, the liveliness, all the people that are out and about. So I hope our community will be just as welcoming as they always are. And I'm excited to see them here. And then last, I wanted to mention, Pam actually sent out a press release today about the Creative Impact Summit that will be going on. Nelvin out of planning and Katie have been working on this summit on May 11th at the Clemon Fine Arts Center. There is registration online for our community to get involved. The tagline goal is activating Paducah's creative industry. So I wanted to make sure that our community knew about that. And I think that's it. Did I spark any thoughts? Anybody else? All right, we're going to move on to audience comment. We have a guy here that we have never seen before. New to the scene. I'm joking. New to the scene, Mr. Beeler.
It's good to have the quilters in town. I'm not going to talk too much tonight. I just want to invite everybody to the Tillman Museum Thursday night. It's free. We have quilts from the 1850s. For your husbands, we have swords and guns and all the things that went on in the Civil War. We have quilts. Please come see us. Thank you.
Excellent. Thank you so much. I'm not going to take a drink of water. All right, with that, I'm going to make a motion to adjourn.
Second.
All right, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Meeting adjourned. Thank you all.